and gentlemen, welcome to episode 29 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast, coming off an absolutely amazing Survivor Series weekend, an amazing show. We're definitely going to cover it here. This is episode 29. This is our WrestleMania Comes to Jersey episode. We were excited. We were there. It was absolutely phenomenal. This was our Shield walking through the crowd for the first time at Mania episode. This is our Triple H pedigreeing Brock Lesnar on steel steps for the win episode. And this was Rocky and Cena 2. This was the last time we saw The Rock in a WWE ring in action. It was the last time he was in action. I know he was on some. Now he in a match after that?
Yeah, Eric Rowan.
Okay, yeah, okay. I got to change that. I'm coming out with this WrestleMania prediction card. That's right. I forgot he had the match against Eric Rowan. I'm going to always, on the bottom part of the screen, we have our first ever PWP champion and current first place in the Essential Wrestling Podcast pool, John DeConnie. How are you today, John? Living legend.
Good. Glad to be back, as always. Great weekend of wrestling. Lots to talk about.
That sounds great to me. And John Smith, always great to have you back as well. How are things going for you? We watched the Survivor Series together. We had a great time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Nice little dual TV setup you got there with the Sunday Night Football involved. You know, got some snacks on the table. Al's a good host, not just on the podcast, but in real life too.
Well, when Patrick Mahomes is your fantasy quarterback and they have a huge game against the team that beat him, you know, Mahomes is going to light him up. I want to make sure I caught that.
Yeah, shout out to Travis Kelce as well on that one.
Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
I said shout out to Travis Kelce as well on that one.
Oh, yeah. He had a huge game against the Raiders. Big game, big win. Also, make sure, tune in to make sure at the end of the episode to enter the contest for an autographed picture of WWE Hall of Famer, the late Jim the Anvil Neidhart. These are extremely difficult to come by. We'll be going into more details about that later on in the show at the end. But before we get there, on today's show, War Games is on. Finally, we heard Regal say it. We've been waiting for this. I texted all of you. Thank bleeping God. I thought we were going to miss out on it. Regal made sure it happened. We have a huge triple threat match next week to determine Drew McIntyre's next contender for the WWE Championship. The Rascals said goodbye on Impact. PWI names FTR as their best tag team in the world. Gary Mehaffy, again, he is with us again, as always, to discuss the UK Heritage Cup final that will take place this Thursday, the new Thanksgiving Day tradition, the Heritage Cup final, as well as that hard-hitting, that brutal NXT UK Women's Championship match between Kaylee Ray and Piper Niven. That was phenomenal. Ryan Joy from MinutesToBellTime.com, he will be here to discuss the New Japan, the Super J Cup, and the World Tag League tournaments that are going on, amongst other things, including the relaunch of NWA Power. We will not mention what day or time that show is on because we don't own the night. Impact does, but we own the late afternoon. We're going to make our pick. I'm going to reveal number 18 on my top 30 favorite WrestleMania match countdown. We are 18 weeks away from the Showcase of the Immortals. Right now, still scheduled for SoFi Stadium, the beautiful $5 billion complex, and home to the Rams and the Chargers. We make our picks for this week's upcoming matches, which is always presented by MinutesToBellTime.com and sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. We're going to main event the show with Will Hobbs joining Team Taz. That was a little shocking. He was against him. Taz gave him an ultimatum. He ends up joining. We'll get into that. Make sure, once again, like I said, stay tuned to the end of the show for the Jim the Anvil Neidhart giveaway. But we're going to curtain jerk this show with the 34th annual Survivor Series. This year wasn't really as much brand warfare. It was just really the tagline was. It was the best of the best. Who's better? It has nothing to do with Raw versus SmackDown. It was just whose brand's guys are better. And John DeConnie, in the main event, at least as far as matches goes, Roman Reigns got it done by hook or crook.
Sure did. Yeah, this was about 24 minutes of Big Hoss, slobber knocker, whatever you want to call it. Just two big fellas whacking the hell out of each other. Started, and the possible endings started fairly early. We had a Superman punch, not too far into it. We had McIntyre reverse a spear into a Kimura and take Roman down. We had two Samoan drops, the second of which put McIntyre through the announce table. We had a spear through the.
Was that? Nia Jax. You learned that.
Yes, yeah. Well, cleared that out. That was good. We had we had a spear through the barricade, then back into the ring. A spear that landed a 2 count for Roman. A second spear that was countered with a Claymore. But unfortunately, that one knocked the ref down and out and allowed Roman to hit a brutal low blow. Not even, this wasn't the kick out low blow or, I just happened to graze the yam bag. This was straight up Broadway. Followed shortly thereafter by a super kick by Jay, who jumped into the ring for a minute. Another Superman punch, and he jumped into a guillotine on McIntyre, brought him down to the ground, and the second ref made it out just in time to realize McIntyre had gone Betty by, and we get the win for Roman.
Yeah, that's it. He was the head of the table, and then right there at the end, you have a completely knocked out Drew McIntyre. Was this a missed opportunity for The Miz?
I went nuts. I had picked it in the pool. I had made the wager. If it didn't happen, I wasn't just missing out on points. I was getting negative points. And I'm sitting here in my living room with Joe across the room from me on the couch, and I'm going, where is he? Why is this not happening? I had so convinced myself it just didn't make sense to me any other way, so I flipped out.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity. You're not going to get Drew McIntyre in those positions all that often. So I know Miz still has probably maybe 5 months or so left to hold on to that. So he doesn't need to do it now. I guess he's got a game plan. He always, he executes it and makes it work. He proved that in getting that briefcase from our beloved Otis. John Smith, we saw something we mentioned on Saturday at the Essential Wrestling Survivor Series special. We saw something in the men's elimination match we had not seen in 6 years.
Yeah, it was almost like it was due in betting terms, Yeah. But, we saw a clean sweep from the men. Rollins started off the match and just sacrificed himself for the greater good. He had to do it. Who the hell knows what his explanation is going to be for that on Friday, or if we even get one. Then down goes Owens, and Corbin and Otis got towards the top rope in order to get eliminated, so Strowman could get him on his shoulder for the big slam. So then it's Jay 1-on-5 versus the whole Raw team. Jay Uso, and valiant effort, but he just couldn't handle it. And Roman threw him in the hell out of the arena after the match was over. So he disappointed his family, and and the whole team disappointed SmackDown.
Yeah, and thing is that he didn't go far, Jey Uso. He was kicked out. He was kicked out of the family, I believe was the exact quote. You're out. And Jay came back, and it seemed like those two, Roman had his arm around them, walking up the ramp at the end of his match when Jay came out to help. So it's the first time in 6 years we had a full team. Do your part. Oh. We had a full team survive. I haven't seen that happen in a very long time. And the fun part is the whole deal with Team Raw was that they weren't working together. They weren't getting along. Everybody pulled their weight. Everybody on that team had one elimination. They each got somebody gone. So let's go to the graphics here. These were what we put out on Saturday. As you can see, once again, these are the most matches survived. Strowman and Sheamus, they made this long list. Let me get that Survivor and get that out of there. They made this long list of everybody that's now tied with 3 Survivor matches survived all time all chasing Randy Orton, Hulk Hogan, and the Ultimate Warrior. So they are not out on that list. And as I mentioned, everybody got one elimination, which now puts Braun Strowman. That ties him with Rey Mysterio for the most ever eliminations in Survivor Series history. So, Strowman's still got a long time ahead of him career-wise. He will probably be making numerous elimination matches to be able to maybe catch Shawn Michaels, possibly Randy Orton. And Randy's still around too, so who exactly knows? With the women, though, John DeConnie, you nailed it. Again, Lana is the best. Lana #1.
Yeah, it was a little touch and go there because when Lana, as predicted, I'm sure I'm not the only one who said it, tagged herself in when she wasn't really welcome. But it happened so early in the match, it freaked me out because I figured once she was in, bad news. And then when Natty came in across from her, I'm just sitting there going like, no, this is how it's supposed to end. This is happening too soon. This is going to ruin my whole evening. Well, she survived long enough to get herself out of the ring, and where she was then rightfully banished to the top of the steps, not to move for the rest of the evening. And then the match progressed very nicely with Peyton eliminating Bayley with the Deja Vu. Natty eliminating Peyton with a sharpshooter. Lacey eliminating Natty with the woman's right and a pinfall.
That's right. Keep going. The jersey's coming out.
Ruby got caught in the Karafuda clutch, which she rolled over into a pin, but there was a distraction by Nia that allowed Shayna not to be counted down. And in fact, Ruby passed out. So by the time the ref came back to Shayna, she was able to roll herself on top of Ruby for a pinfall. And then Liv eliminates Lacey with a crucifix bomb.
There it is.
Go Jersey. So then Nia eliminates Liv with a Samoan drop. Shayna gets DQ'd for locking in the Karafuda clutch on Bianca. Bianca gets to the ring, the rope break, and Shayna decides not to let go. So she gets her 5 count. She gets DQ'd. Now Bianca and Nia are left with Lana sitting at the top of the steps. Bianca and Nia go at it outside the ring, and Nia had a perfect opportunity to throw in one more punch and roll her butt back inside the ring. Instead, she decided to try and put Bianca through the wall. She missed. She wound up in the first row of Thunderdome. Bianca didn't even have enough time to turn around and get back in the ring. Double count out. The only one left is Lonely Lana on top of the steps, sole survivor.
That's it. Smudged lipstick and all. Lana sat there as the winner and as the sole survivor. With all that said and done, here it is. Her name is now edged in Survivor Series history. SmackDown again with the squad douche in women's elimination match history. Lana gets it up there as the 5th win for Raw. Now Lana joins Nia Jax, Asuka, Beth Phoenix as sole survivors, as well as in 2016 with Charlotte Flair and Bayley also survived. And as you mentioned, Natalya got an elimination during this match, so that broke the tie with Sasha Banks. Natty is now the sole owner of the most eliminations match, the most eliminations in women's Survivor Series match history.
And she's the boat. I mean, come on.
And she's the boat. She's the survivor. So the boat, Survivor Series boat. I don't even know how to do that, but they.
She's a motorboat.
John Smith. SmackDown lost all their champions. SmackDown won all their champions in matches. Roman Reigns, Sasha Banks, she defeated Asuka with a roll-up. She slayed that dragon, got that monkey off her back. The Street Profits hit a doomsday blockbuster, which I guess is the best way to describe it. Ryan Joy, we were on the same page yesterday on the Daily Wrestling News Show. We had the same thing written. The Street Profits got the win over the New Day. Bobby Lashley was the only one that got it done for Raw.
Yeah, man, and he did it pretty convincingly. I had called a squash, and I guess if you if you combine all the minutes, all the seconds inside the ring, it might have been still a squash. But Sammy spent so much time trying to get away, trying to get the Hurt Business to hit him, tripping over MVP on purpose and saying that he hit him. You know, it was pretty creative. And then Lashley did what he had to do, and he put him out. So, you know, it was the way it should have went. And, you know, Sammy still looked like his little conniving self. And, yeah. Good stuff.
He's got to come up with better ideas than that. He said he had some gems getting Apollo Crews' foot stuck in the ring that ties the canvas down under the ring. The whole thing with Jeff Hardy and the handcuffs, that was brilliant. He needs a better ideas to beat the Hurt Business than trying to get yourself disqualified by tripping over MVP.
Yeah, Lashley did not need any help to beat him. So
nope. The Miz won the interpromotional battle royal on the kickoff show. He almost got eliminated, snuck back in under before getting kicked to the floor. Ended up being Dominic Mysterio wrestling it out with Chad Gable at the end. Dominic eliminated Gable. Again, we thought the match was over. Miz was never eliminated. He dumped out Dominic, and I tell you what, all of our horses were out of this race from the get-go. There was no Lars Sullivan. There was no Big E. Big E had a lot of picks on ProWrestlingPick'em.com to win this battle royal, and he was not even involved. But Gary Mehaffy had the bold prediction on Saturday at the Survivor Series special to go with Dominic Mysterio, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Dominic had the entrance with his father. They were both in. I'm like, okay, Dom could possibly do this. But the Miz, I guess, you know, he's got to start getting some kind of momentum going. He's been losing and losing and losing. That's what the Miz does. And then he'll sneak in some wins here and there. And then, as I say, when he cashes in that briefcase, Angry Miz Girl, hope she's in attendance. Maybe they can find a way to get her, like, find out where she is now. Send her an email, like, listen, like, we're doing it now. Like, can you please be in the Thunderdome this day so you could, you know, redo this whole thing? That would be fun.
If they haven't reached out to her, that's somebody's dropped the ball.
Yeah, I know. And then probably the biggest takeaway tonight, the most important thing that happened, on his 30th birthday, the Gobbledygooker won the 24/7 championship from R-Truth. That was absolutely shocked moment. That's one of those moments that lives in the annals of time. Then he lost it later on. I believe Tozawa won it again, and then Truth got it back in the end, which is the most important thing. But the Gobbledygooker on his 30th birthday.
Lost a foot to do it.
Wins the 24/7 champions. That's 100%. And unfortunately, unfortunately. I guess it is unfortunate. The Undertaker he is gone. They had a whole slew of WWE Hall of Famers and legends and the Godwins in the ring. They went all out for him, and they let the Undertaker say his piece. And he rode off into that good night. And then the pictures on social media after the final bell has told, I believe we were all wrong. You know, we wanted him to keep going. We thought he had one more match left in him. That turns out to not be the case. The Undertaker, on behalf of the Essential Wrestling Podcast, thank you for 30 years. We've loved every minute of it. We appreciate you. And the next time we see him, he will be in a tuxedo in front of a podium, receiving his Hall of Fame induction.
I still don't believe it.
One last quick note on the Survivor Series. Wasn't like I said, it wasn't really about interpromotional brand warfare, but if you tally up the numbers, Raw won again. They won 4-3 if you count The Miz in the Battle Royal. So now that's 4 wins for the past 5 years. They started doing this. NXT got the win last year, and SmackDown just refuses to get on the board with the big squadoosh right there. Like I said, they went 4th overall. Raw is now 2 matches over 500. NXT was not involved. They stayed at 4-3, obviously. And now SmackDown, again, they got 3 wins. That's 3 more than they've been getting, I guess, over the past couple of years. They now fall 10 matches under 500. They have just been this just has not been their event. I think maybe Cletus the Robot needs to start drafting better if they're going to be having the draft a month before the Survivor Series. So turning this into Monday Night Raw from last night, as we previously reported, the entire men's Raw Survivor Series team survived. We started off in the ring with them and Postman Pierce. Postman Pierce was going to decide who would be or what they were going to do to reward this team for working so well together, and they each got one elimination. What they were going to do for as a reward, obviously they all want the WWE Championship and Drew McIntyre. Strowman wanted it a little bit too much, though. He headbutted Postman Pierce, and now he is indefinitely suspended. He got indefinitely suspended this morning, and he's not happy about it. But then when Postman Pierce came conscious, he had a quick meeting with Bobby Lashley, had a quick meeting with Randy Orton, decided to have a small little tournament to decide who will challenge Drew McIntyre next, who earned it. Like I said, Bobby Lashley got the win. Randy Orton was the former champion from the week before. So they had 3 matches. We'll run through them real quick. Riddle defeated Sheamus with a roll-up. That was kind of shocking because all of us kind of pegged Sheamus to be the next guy to fight Drew McIntyre. Keith Lee and Bobby Lashley had a very nice contest. I was hoping they're going to wait till WrestleMania for. But ended in disqualification. Maybe you can keep them apart. We got a little taste of it. We like it. Maybe we can hold off till Mania for the United States title. I'm sorry, for MVP's United States Championship. But Keith Lee got the win via disqualification last night. And then The Fiend distracted Randy Orton enough to the point where AJ Styles hit the phenomenal forearm. And AJ moves on as well in the main event. So now we are going to go to next Monday night. They're going to put those 3 gentlemen in the ring, and the winner gets Drew McIntyre. As you can see there, Keith Lee is having a hell of a year at 17-7. A lot of those wins in NXT, the same as Matt Riddle. AJ Styles, you know, the guy can take losses, right? I mean, nobody really. If you say AJ Styles is 13-12, you kind of think he's crazy, but there you go. So we will go John Smith. Who do you got challenging Drew McIntyre?
It's going to be at TLC, right?
They did not announce that, no.
Well, that makes a difference to me, but
it makes a complete difference, yes.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be AJ Styles because, you know, like you said, he can take a loss, but he doesn't need to take this loss. He can take the main event loss at the pay-per-view or whatever. I'd love to see him versus Drew McIntyre in a ladder match.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of stipulation. I think is that if they do hold off something for TLC, one of, if not all 3 of those stipulations are most likely going to be involved, John DeConnie.
Yeah, absolutely. If this is as much as I want to see Styles, I have a feeling it's going to be Lee, and perhaps it sets up a tables match at the pay-per-view if it does indeed wind up being at TLC. Because that's kind of an easy one to get out of. Somebody slips, there's a table set up at ringside. Somebody slips, falls off the ropes, through the table. Nobody has to count the lights. So I got a feeling it's Lee.
Yeah, I'm going to go Keith Lee as well, just because I'm going to be stubborn. I can completely see it being Styles, but like I said, I have Styles. I got Styles and McIntyre at WrestleMania. I got Styles winning the Rumble as of today. Like I said, I'm writing an article. It'll be out next Monday. My way too early WrestleMania predictions. I thought I was being a smart guy, picking Keith Lee and Bobby Lashley, and then that happened, and then all of a sudden AJ might win. I'm like, you gotta kill me. But yeah, maybe if you go Keith Lee, they can have another, put the first match on Raw, make it a no contest, and then declare it for TLC later. I used to say a ladder match with Keith Lee. That just doesn't sound right. So I'm hoping for Keith Lee, and like I said, obviously AJ Styles is going to get a shot at some point. So
I don't think they're going to do the face on face thing. Not for like a TLC pay per view.
You don't think so? No.
It's just not their style. I feel like.
No, it's not. And the problem is, it seems like Riddle is going to be going after. Apparently he's got some ideas about pizza flavored yogurt. To run past Bobby Lashley for whatever reason. So I think like Riddle's going to be starting to get mixing things up with the Hurt Business, which will be fun. And then we're going to this is my stepson just kind of lost my train of thought. But no, Styles has nothing to do after this. It's really, I don't know who you pair Styles up with just to hold him off the WrestleMania, but or a beat for me. John DeConn, we had a rematch for the Raw Tag Team Championship last night, and this one, when they announced this match and Kofi and Woods got baited into it, I thought they were done.
Yeah, and it seems like they like the idea of this so much that even when the match technically ended after Benjamin and Alexander dominated pretty early, then Kofi escaped a attempted superplex with a headbutt. And the two of them kind of tumbled to the floor and got counted out. But that wasn't enough. We like this so much. Let's do it some more. So the match got restarted. The match gets restarted. And we get a few more minutes of the back and forth. I mean, this is, four guys that are just fantastic in the ring. And it all ends up with Shelton going for what appeared to be the starts of a power bomb, but Xavier Woods continued to roll over his back underneath and rolled him up for a win.
Yeah, I had that. It's just like, not that I'm going to ever complain if those two ever win the Raw Tag titles. I was like, wow, it was their day off, right? That was like Dante from Clerks. Like, I'm not even supposed to be here today, and I was going to defend the Raw Tag Team titles. Yeah, they got it done.
You can lose your tag titles on your day off.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever seen the alternate ending to Clerks?
No.
Dante gets shot by a robber, and he wasn't even supposed to be there today.
And he wasn't even supposed to be. That's a shame.
Yeah,
it's a shame. Backstage, they were interviewing Lana after her big Survivor Series victory. And they mentioned the fact that you're going to think you're going to challenge Asuka? And Lana's like, no. And here comes Asuka. I accept. But I'm like, oh my God, here we go. If it wasn't the Hurt Business doing it, are they going to roll with this Lana thing? They had a very quick match that ended at maybe about 2 moves or 3 moves or whatever it was. Asuka decided to throw water in the faces of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, who were doing commentary. Because Lana's out there, so they got to be out there to put her through the table. It turned into a tag team match that Asuka and Lana ended up winning. So 2 things come from this. One, okay, so do we get a WWE Women's Tag Team Champion? When you beat the champions, you normally get the title match. So look for that match to come. And 2, after that victory, Asuka was at ringside celebrating, and you can see Lana just beeline it up that way. She was getting as far away from that announce table as possible, and she made it. She made it. John Smith, you sent the picture. There it is. Nia Jax is now 9-1. The streak is over. Unbelievable. The guy at ringside, I'm sure the guy with the glasses, the bull guy with the glasses, he was there. Ryan Joy from minutestobelltime.com just came up with this gem, and it is almost so obvious to the point where I don't say we missed it, but I guess we just haven't thought of it yet, so we'll give him the credit for this one. Yeah. At TLC, I think the obvious thing is you have to have a tables match between Lana and Nia Jax. So I think that's where they're headed. Ryan Joy, that is great planning right there.
Possibly Nia and Shayna versus Asuka and Lana in a tag team tables.
You could possibly do that. They win the belt. Imagine Lana just walking down the aisle by herself as Raw with a belt around her waist. Just certain things just aren't meant to be. But staying with the women's division, John Smith. We got Alexa Bliss's first in-ring action as a member. I don't even call her this fiendish Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, there's no real name for any alter ego of hers. She goes into a trance, or she's been in a trance this whole time. But they did a nice little video package beforehand, showing their history together and leading up to the match last night. And shout out to Alexa's ring attire. I was a big fan of that. That was pretty cool. And as far as the match goes, Nikki at the beginning was just trying to talk some sense into her, and then it didn't work, so they had their fight, and then all of a sudden it looked like Bliss snapped out of it and started apologizing to Nikki.
You can quote Josh Matthews right now.
Playing a little ha-ha.
There you go.
So Nikki, of course, ended up believing her, as all faces would, because it's pro wrestling. And they hug, and she just turns the hug into her sister Abigail and pins her. 1, 2, 3.
That was it. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I think you said when we were talking about the highlight package, the video package, I thought you were going to talk about Friendship Frog or whatever that guy's name was. That was a shame. 40 years is just too young to go. I'm 40 myself. I'm 41. I haven't lost track. So it was very. It's tough to go at 40. Just way too young for a frog to go.
Hardly knew ye.
Yeah, man, it was a shame. I believe the discussion this morning was you really just can't on the Daily Wrestling News Show. This is the news that they cover on the Daily Wrestling News Show. Never be a new character on the Firefly Funhouse. You won't make it out of it. I forgot to mention this earlier, real quick. Out of the Survivor Series, here are the standings in the Essential Wrestling Podcast pool. Before we bring it into Gary Mehaffy and the NXT UK. John DeConnie, it's official. He leapfrogged me. The tie is broken. He threw up 135 points, going 5-2 at the Survivor Series. Could have been more betting against Drew McIntyre, but no, that wasn't you. That was Ryan. Never mind, right?
Yeah.
There you go. So John Smith, Tyler's down on the bottom. John Smith, he's right behind Ryan. There's still a lot of points left to be had here. This is far from over. We got about 3 or 4 shows just in December alone that will be scored. But as far as the WWE standings go, John DeConnie's got a stranglehold on this as well. Ryan Joy's leading with Tyler. They're tied right now for the most wins at 32. Well, like I said, you got to get the points in the big matches, and that's what Ryan's been doing. I know way back when he had an early jump getting that Money in the Bank, the women's match, right? He picked Asuka. So he got that correct. But yeah. Ryan Joyce chasing John DeConnie. Me and John Smith are sitting there in the middle right there with Tyler right behind us. And Gary, who chimed in with us on the Survivor Series special, he went 4-3, got the 95 points. Again, you sometimes you bet with your heart. It doesn't always turn out that way. And that's what Gary had to do. He never bets against Drew McIntyre. And, you got to appreciate a friendship like that. So, John Smith, John DeConnie, we're going to bid you a quick adieu to bring in Gary Mehaffy real quick. So
shout out to Adam Pearce for calling Drew McIntyre Drew McInfart, by the way.
Yeah.
You missed that too.
We'll leave it at that. Oh, I brought it wrong. I was the wrong guy to bring in. There's too many handsome men on this show, Gary. I got you confused with Ryan. But Gary, how are you, pal? Great to see you again.
I just have to say, for all the millions and millions of the EWP watchers, my leg's still in one piece after my cramp on Saturday night. So I'm still, I'm not quite a Lego man yet. I'm all right. I'm okay.
I say we're going to try to plan for our 50th episode, just the highlights of the past 50 episodes. 30's a little too soon. I'm going to get it done, but that will be on it. And we're glad to see that you're okay. I was very tempted to send some sort of Swedish masseuse over there to you. I don't know how far away Sweden and Northern Ireland are, but I'm sure your wife wouldn't appreciate that. But Gary, where do we start with you? Oh, the women's championship, the brutalness that was the NXT UK Women's Championship match this past Thursday. Kaylee Ray and Piper Nevin again just put it all on the line.
They really did. I mean, I was going through and looking at the list. I've got chairs, the ringside, the barricade, the ring bell, turnbuckles, trash cans, kendo sticks, chains, guitars, production crates, picture frames, and Uncle Tom Cobley and all. It's like literally, you name it, they beat each other with it. It was brutal. Like they really did, as you say. They left everything out there. It was just unbelievable. Like it was really stiff, really, really good.
Now, I've never met like anybody from Scotland before. I know you know, Drew, but the Scottish women, like they seem to. I don't know. Oh. They're up there with Jersey girls, I think. Yeah, I don't think I want to see Scottish women.
And that's when they were sober. You want to see Scottish women when they're drunk. I know I have a few friends.
But yeah, it was Ginny was the one that did the final blow here. She appeared. They were on top of those production storage bins. Ginny got the chair on Piper
Chair.
Niven fell. Niven actually felt like she grabbed on the Kaylee. Maybe she wasn't supposed to. I don't know, but Kaylee went head first off that thing.
Yeah.
Ended up landing on top of Piper. Kaylee's okay, thank God, but she got the pinfall out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and it built in because like we've been saying over the last few weeks, when you had Jenny who was doing her stuff and was calling out Piper, and I thought, well, okay, maybe Piper will win and then they'll go for the match. But actually to have her come in and cost her the match was a twist that I didn't see coming, and I thought, okay, that's really interesting. And that not only do you have matches coming out of it for the title belt with a few girls, but you also now have secondary and other matches and feuds that are going on as well. So it's really it's very well thought out. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah, that shot, I thought they didn't give it to her the first time. I thought maybe this was just a way to build up to this gimmick match, and if you want to call it a gimmick match, whatever, the Falls Count Anywhere. And I gotta tell you, I love these Falls Count Anywhere. I live the arena lifestyle. That's where I work in my real job. I work in arena. I love seeing the backstage and stuff like that. And those storage bins, I've moved those storage bins before. Those are not fun. Those are heavy, and I'm sure they hurt like heck.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the show, Joe Coffey defeated Sam Gradwell. They had a little bit of a thing going. Joe Coffey kind of that's 2 pins in a row. He was the best of the bells, beast of the bells.
Best of the bells, yeah.
Best of the bells, clothesline got it done against Sam Gradwell. But he said Sam Gradwell, you got to give him a little bit of credit here. 2-year battle to get back from that knee surgery. That's a great story.
I mean, it really has. They've come back, and I mean, it was good. It was a very stiff match. Obviously, they're putting some more steam behind Joe again. But it was good to see that they gave it a little bit of a story. You had Sam Gradwell from the pin a couple of weeks ago, giving it a bit of that, and then building up this match. So I say it was nice to see them build it up, and then to pay it off with Alexander Wolf backstage later on, crossing paths with all of the Gallus boys. It's interesting that all of a sudden, instead of going one match is done, what now? They just kept adding little things on here and there with everything. It's been really interesting to see it come.
Yeah, I believe I missed that UK takeover where Walter beat Joe Coffey to defend the title. From what it sounds like Alexander Wolf got involved in that one. So I think this is already ready made. Like Joe Coffey already owes him one.
They've been good. It's been good to see them go back and call back to things from months ago. I mean, they did it with Dragunov and Walter, obviously, but they've gone back and picked up on things that they left off in March, and now they're trying to pay it all off. So it's good to see the way it's written.
It seems like we're talking about these guys every week. Pretty deadly. They got it done against Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter, and I guess Smith and Carter, this was their first match tagging together. Stoker hit Smith with the forearm and Howley got with the roll up for the win. Hooking the tights as heels do. I mean, I'm sure he could have got away with it without it, but he decided to pull up on him.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's been good. Like we mentioned a few weeks ago, like the focus that they have on the tag teams and the fact that they are wanting to kind of push the singles, but push the women and show you all the tag teams and showcase everybody is really, really good to build the roster up and build people's desire to see all the matches coming out of it.
All right, and then the other match that was on the card, that huge jacked guy, Muir. I can't remember his first name.
Levi Muir.
Levi Muir. Again, he's just okay. Like you know what? I was gonna give him a shot because he was fighting Saxon Huxley. He doesn't actually, the guy doesn't guarantee a victory here. And then all of a sudden, here comes NXT resident UK punching bag, Jack Starr, to be in the corner of Levi. I'm like, in his corner. Levi, you need to get better friends than that, buddy. But Saxon Huxley got the win. So going into Thursday, which by our time, it is Thanksgiving Day. So we're going to get a little bit of a treat by this time, usually, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and across the country, the Detroit Lions are usually getting crushed by now. So maybe before we start dinner and the Cowboys game, we're going to get these two matches. The first one is going to be Jordan Devlin defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Amir Jordan. So, Devlin approached Jordan, and actually Kenny Williams. Yeah. Actually, they approached Jordan Devlin. Excuse me. They wanted a shot. Amir Jordan is cleared right now. Kenny Williams is not. So, Amir Jordan's going to be up first. We're getting some Cruiserweight Championship action over in the UK. Who do you got?
Well, I would say the Irish Ace has it, that Jordan has it. And if I was a betting man, and I mentioned this a few weeks ago, I think that it'll play over the next few weeks of some sort of maybe split between Jordan and Williams, because, as I said, the rumors are that they signed was it Gursinder Singh, or the guy Tony Gill from the Desi Hit Squad in TNA. That they've signed him, so I could see him and Amir Jordan maybe hooking up down the line. But I could see over the next few weeks you'll have Jordan Devlin taking them both on, see how it goes. But as I say, Devlin to take it, and pretty convincingly.
I think Devlin should definitely going to beat this. I don't think if there was ever people to take this title from Jordan Devlin, it's either going to be Amir Jordan or Kenny Williams. But yeah, I can agree, because when Devlin when they were talking in the back, Williams and Jordan, they were kind of looking at each other a little funny. So I think you're going to be right with that. You see some tension building with them. And then I guess what we're hoping, this is the start of a new American Thanksgiving Day tradition. Not only the Detroit Lions, not only the Dallas Cowboys, but we have the UK Heritage Cup Finals. It's been a great tournament, Gar. I've loved every match. I've loved every moment of this. I wish it was Noam Dar in the final. That's what I wanted from the get-go. I believe you had Flashwork and Webster.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is going to be great. Both of these guys have fought hard and fought great, and this is a pick 'em right now. Who do you go with on this one, Gary? I don't think there's a wrong answer, to tell you the truth.
No, and it really is. I think I'd have to toss the invisible coin here, and I'll go Trent Seven. I think while I've always been more of a Dunn and a Tyler Bate fan, but I could see the way they've built this to kind of go, this is Trent Seven's time. He's coming through for this. He needs it. He's talking about how much I have to win this. So I think he'll just squeeze it out, and the Trent Seven will take it.
Yeah, I would say Trent Seven won me more. Massive. He had me on the ground dying. I was laughing. He kept on getting caught in the wrong corner when the round ended. He had me dying. I'll pick him just on that. But there is no wrong answer. A-Kid's got a very bright future, it seems like. He's very good. Trent Seven, the Silver Fox, as they call him, let him have this one. I know it's not exactly, I won't say he's been a slouch, but it seems like he's been second behind Tyler Bate. And Pete Dunne, if you want to throw that in. I know he's been involved with them, but it's more about Bate and Dunne, especially after that match in TakeOver Chicago. So I just, if you're gonna have the first name that's gonna be engraved on that cup and start a tradition, I would like to see Trent Seven's name on top of that as well, using the original UK tournament. And I absolutely love his entrance music. Is that the right reason to pick anybody? No, but I get excited. I liked Trent Seven's entrance music. So, but Gary, thank you so much. We appreciate you always staying up late and coming on with us. And I tell you what, like I mentioned during the Survivor Series, I was pulling for you. I was pulling for Dominic Mysterio. That would have been huge.
That close. But anyway, I mean, it'll make it all feel better. I'll go here and phone this masseuse and see if she does midnight home calls or whatever. But.
Gary, thank you so much. I know you don't celebrate, but I'm very happy Thanksgiving to you. We are thankful for you here at the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Enjoy your night.
You too. See you later.
And then I'm going to get this right. I got it right. We're going to bring back in John Smith and John the Con. We're going to bring them in back in a little bit early here. We're going to give Brian a little more time to prep for his segment here. We're going to go right to NXT, the stateside version of NXT. Once I get everything situated here, boom, we'll put that there. We'll get everybody's name up. And we are off and running with John the Connie. And just like with Gary in the UK, an absolutely excellent UK Women's Championship match. The stateside version, our beloved NXT, their championship was on the line as well.
Yes, and it did not fail to deliver, as usual. I mean, you had 20 minutes of just wow with these two women. You had Rio working Io's ribs from the start, Io working Rhea's arm, just back and forth. Io countered a Riptide into a DDT as we got close to the final sequence here. That made Rhea roll outside, just outside the ring ropes. Io hit a baseball slide right between her legs, got underneath her, and power bombed her right through the announce table, leaving her laying. Io made her way back inside to take a breath, hoping that Rhea would not make it. Rhea just did make it, but she just wasn't paying enough attention. She just kind of laid there, belly down, trying to catch her breath, which was all the space that Io needed to hit the over the moon salt.
Yep.
And 1, 2, 3, and my goodness, what a match that was!
Yeah, that was incredible. And I guess let's just. I think this might be it for Rhea Ripley. That's what everyone's calling it. If she didn't get the job done now, she is going to be getting the call up at some point. And if so, what do you think, John DeConnie? Is it time to bring up Rhea Ripley? Specifically for SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown could certainly use the talent, and I felt like I wasn't 100% on this. I'm pretty sure I went with Io because I thought that this was going to be that final line on her resume where she beats a former champion, and the two of them get a not that they weren't already stars, but one of those star maker matches. Now I could have seen Rhea winning and having a continued run, but I think the fact that she lost means she's on her way to different pastures.
Yeah, it wasn't even the fact. The loss is one thing, but the handshakes and the hug at the end and the sportsmanship and all the stuff that Bobby Heenan is completely against in pro wrestling, they did it. So I was like, okay. And then Finn Balor gave them a nice shout out as well. We'll get to Finn Balor in just one moment. But John Smith, we ended the night with a championship match. We started the night with a championship match as Leon Ruff. He gave Johnny Gargano his rematch.
Yeah, and it was a good little match for what it was. According to MinutesToBellTime.com, it was only 4 minutes and 49 seconds before Damian Priest pulled Leon Ruff out of the ring after the Johnny's DDT that he does. I forgot what the name of it is, the one over the top rope.
Yeah.
And, Damian pulled him out, and it was a whole, what are you doing? What's going on? And he just says, sorry, kid, and knocks him the F out. So he gets Leon Ruff gets Johnny technically disqualified.
Yeah.
Leon Ruff wins the match and obviously keeps his title. But then it just goes on to show that Damian Priest kind of looks at Leon Ruff as a joke and not worthy of that title, because afterwards when he was talking to Regal, they were talking about, it was like when parents talk about a kid right in front of their face. They were talking about him, and he's like, "Oh, you think I'm a joke?" And he slaps Priest right across the face. It was pretty awesome.
It was awesome. And you know what? We've been laughing. I don't want to throw you guys in the bus here. I've been having, I want to say fun at Leon. I've been excited about Leon Ruff. I've been in Leon Ruff's corner, and I don't want him to think, I don't want to get slapped in the face. I'm going to take Leon Ruff seriously. And spoiler alert, at the end of that, Leon Ruff told Regal that he would fight them both. And I'm telling you right now, spoiler alert, I am taking Leon Ruff in that match, and I really hope that there's points on the line, and this is that TakeOver War Games. I am taking Leon Ruff. I'm going to ride him with this. I will take Leon Ruff seriously.
And he's going to pin Damian Priest.
Yeah, that would be absolutely perfect. The Kings of NXT, I don't know, they called themselves that the one week, and they haven't been called that since. I do believe Cesaro and Cassius Ohno might have a problem with that, or Chris Hero, because they went by the Kings of Wrestling as their tag team name, the beloved indie darlings that they were years ago. But Pat McAfee and group, we'll call them that. They approached Finn Balor after Balor made his return, just to say he was back from his broken jaw issue that Kyle O'Reilly gave him at NXT TakeOver 31. But Finn Balor didn't come alone. The cat's away, the mice are going to play, and that's fine. But here we go. Here comes my mouse catchers, and here comes the Undisputed. They're back, and they got into it. A 4-on-4 action, I do believe. So the funny thing is, Balor actually is the one person outside of the Undisputed Era that they have like some kind of mutual respect with. Cole and Balor had their handshake after their championship match. O'Reilly and Balor had a moment after their championship match. So, Finn is actually pretty okay with Undisputed Eras right now. So that makes complete sense. But Regal came out. He said those magic 2 words that every NXT fan loves to hear at this time of year, and it's War Games, and these teams of 4 will go at it. Tomorrow night, they're actually going to have a ladder match, not for the custody of Dominic Mysterio, but for the advantage in War Games. So I guess if you get whatever's hanging above the ring, you're going to have the advantage of War Games, meaning your team members, when you start out one-on-one, I think the first segment's 5 minutes, and then a team member comes out. Whoever wins this match will have that first team member from each time going forward. If you've seen a War Games match, you know what I'm talking about. For whatever reason, I am struggling explaining it. So, John Smith, as our senior NXT correspondent, what you got?
I'm going to go with the Kings of NXT winning this somehow. I'd like to see the match be Pete Dunne versus Bobby Fish, because we haven't gotten a lot of Bobby Fish lately. But you can't pick there's no wrong guy to pick from the Undisputed Era. I just hope that Pete Dunne is the guy from the Kings that's in the match.
All right, John DeConnie.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense, and it's a better build if the heels start off with the advantage.
Yeah, I want to agree with you on that one. I'm gonna throw something out here. I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but I got McAfee's team winning this. I think Pete Dunne would be a good choice. I'm kind of thinking Roderick Strong. I don't think Bobby Fish is kind of a ladder match type of guy. I think my first knee-jerk reaction was Kyle O'Reilly, but I feel like something's going to happen at War Games with the Undisputed Era. I think someone's going to turn. I feel like someone's turning, and I feel like it's going to be Kyle O'Reilly, because if he just had that great match with Bow, he can hang on his own. I know he was the one that recently got jumped by Pete Dunne, so it doesn't make sense. I just feel like they've been together for so long now. They're not adding members, which is fine, but I think there's going to start being some turmoil. And if McAfee's group has the first guy in, which means the Undisputed Era is going to have the last person entry in the match to complete the 4-on-4, and then you got Mr. Perfect, or you got Kurt Hennig from WCW all those years ago, joining the NWO and putting Ric Flair's head in the cage door. So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep into this. I don't know. I just feel
Still
like
here.
Nothing interesting has happened in the Undisputed Era in a long time. I feel like they need to shake something like that up. So we'll go with that. In the women's division, Shotzi Blackheart, she's in the workshop right now. She is rebuilding her tank, and she was actually the one that made the announcement in her garage that War Games is upon us, and it's going to be Team Shotzi versus Team Candice LeRae. Later on in the night, there was a tag team match. It was Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. They defeated Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. Of course, Carter was one got pinned. She is the dead weight of that team. It is not Catanzaro. She's from Jersey. Casey is gold. She probably should just go on a singles run or something. I don't know. Get rid of the dead weight. But when they win, they're great, right? And then later in the night, Toni Storm and Ember Moon, they defeated Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. And then after that match, Candice and Indy came out to jump Toni and Ember and throw them back in so that Raquel Gonzalez can give the pump and the slam thing that she does. So it looks like Candice is kind of rounding out her team here. She's got her 4. It looks like they're going to have some opposition against them with Toni Storm and Ember Moon. But there is, where did it go? There was a match announced that I forgot to put on here. Well, yes, I did. There is a match announced. I'll talk about it while I'm loading it into the system. It's going to be Candice LeRae against Ember Moon. And this is going to have direct effects going into War Games. And we are ready. We're ready. There we go. Boom. That was just announced before we went on air, which is why I was unprepared in my studio. But John DeConnie, who do you got in this one?
This, I seem to always be on the side of the Gargano, so what the hell? I'll go with Candice again.
I'm going to agree with that. If you're going to captain a team, you got to start beating the people on the other one. John Smith?
I think Ember Moon's going to win this one just because she hasn't won anything yet since she came back. So what is she just going to keep losing? Will she come back to just job to everybody, give everybody the rub? I don't think so. So I think she's going to get this one.
Okay. John Smith, we're going to stick with you right now. We're going to travel back to 1991. I do believe, maybe Ryan can correct me, he's backstage, that this was the last time that I can remember we had a blindfold match. Back then it was Jake the Snake Roberts and the model Rick Martel. This year we got Grimy and Dexter Loomis, and I don't recall there being a winner, but I felt like I was the winner. Just like every time Cameron Grimes is on TV, I feel like I'm the winner.
Absolutely, man. No other two guys I think could have pulled this off, just because of the way, their characters are and the program they're in. Nobody's ever said I'd love to see a blindfold match until I heard about this blindfold match. And you just knew it was going to be epic. And, I mean, it did go a little short for me, but they accomplished what they needed to. Dexter Loomis just standing there, not moving an inch, really. Yeah. Dexter Loomis all over the place, scared of everything, beating the crap out of the referee because he thought it was Loomis. He pulled his mask off. Uh-oh, it wasn't him. And then Loomis's mask comes off. The eyes are out, and then that was it. And he ends up beating the crap out of him a little bit, and Grimy gets to run away and jumps over the wall. Yeah,
he bounced, but when his hood came off and Loomis was down, he I was talking. Oh, then he missed the cave-in, and that's what started the brawl. But that's absolutely phenomenal. It's not going to end either because I think Loomis is going to keep going. You can keep going with this. I don't think this is. I think this is up there. This has just been absolute gold.
They've got to have a steel cage match or something at War Games.
No, interesting. Okay.
Nice.
John DeConnie, Timothy Thatcher had a match with his former student Austin Gray. Thatcher has kind of been a bully teacher here. Austin Gray couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. And these two, as you might have figured, tried to go kind of, they grappled a lot in the beginning, kind of go submission for submission. And then Gray hits a super kick. Okay, he's got a little bit of space to work with. And what does he do? He goes against what his teacher taught him, climbs to the top rope, and leaves his feet. You never leave your feet. Well, he came down and met himself a European uppercut, which led to a Thatcher double underhook suplex. And he locked in a guillotine, and there was an immediate tap. So we get Thatcher by submission, but that wasn't the end of the segment because the Tommaso Ciampa music hits. Ciampa comes down to ringside, gets in the ring. He is staring a hole through Thatcher, and Thatcher just kind of politely backs out and says, "I've got no problem with you." Takes off. Ciampa doesn't go after Gray or anything like that. We come back from the next break. Ciampa's backstage. Someone puts a microphone in his face and says, "What was that all about?" And he said, "Well, I thought I was being as obvious as possible. I want to fight Thatcher." Oh boy!
Yeah, this is a match I didn't know I wanted to see until Ciampa's music hit. Now Ciampa's in the past couple of weeks, he's been doing promos saying he doesn't like this locker room. He thinks this locker room's entitled and whatever. They think they're better than everybody else. And I don't know if he was directly talking about Thatcher, but he's making a beeline for Thatcher first. So that'll be fun if that happens, that takeover. That'd be a great match. And there was one other match on the show. Kushida defeated Arturo Rojas, for whatever reason, was drafted ahead, I believe, of both definitely Andrade and Aleister Black. Arturo Rojas, drafted by Raw, is now already back down in NXT. So who knows? But that was actually an intriguing matchup. That match was really good. Arturo Rojas is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. And Kushida can travel through time. So that was a very interesting matchup. I enjoyed it. Kushida got the win.
It's Huas, by the way. Huas.
I feel like I'm sounding like Al Pacino when I pronounce it. So that will do it for NXT. We're going to jump right into Impact. And John DeConnie, we have a pretty big match ahead of us tonight. Before we get there, we said goodbye to the Rascals last week. Irrelevant that Rich Swann and Trey won the match. In a heartfelt moment. They laid their jackets on the ring ropes, and we say goodbye to the Rascals. Rumors running around that they are on their way to NXT. And I think these were started by the same people that said Eva Marie would be on Raw about a month and a half ago. So take this for what it's worth. But the Rascals are officially done. They were evicted from their treehouse, and they are out of Impact. We're interested to see where they land next. But for our Impact World Champion, he's got the world's most dangerous man and Impact Hall of Famer, Ken Shamrock. What do you got in this one?
Oh boy, yeah. I would be very surprised if Shamrock won, but since Sammy's going to be around, you can never say never. And once again, because it's Impact, you can never say never. So I'm going to go with Swan, but I'm not going to be totally shocked if they do something whack.
Yeah, I can't. Ken Shamrock, John Smith. I'm not sure if you know this. Ken Shamrock is the first ever TNA NWA World. When they first launched TNA NWA, he was the first champion. I know the Impact Championship has recognized Kurt Angle because I guess the NWA split off eventually from TNA. But Ken Shamrock's held it before. He's in the Hall of Fame. Does he get it done tonight?
I'd love to say yes, but it doesn't make sense though. So I'm not gonna pick him. Yeah.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all to give the belt to Ken Shamrock.
And that's what's.
But it's Impact, so like John DeConnie is completely 100% correct. You do have to take into account who's booking this crap. Moose defeated Willie Mack again with the referee stoppage, just as he did at Turning Point. Brian Myers and Crazy Steve had a really good match. That was the first time in a long time, I got to see Crazy Steve actually wrestle. And you just almost forget that the guy is really good, especially when he's legally blind. So it's crazy that he's awesome. I'm a huge fan of his. I've actually seen him. He had a really good match with Brian Myers. Didn't get the job done. Myers hit that signature clothesline that they haven't come up with a name yet. And then the Deaners routed out our beloved Johnny Swinger. He went to Tommy Dreamer about it, and Dreamer has ordered for Johnny Swinger to go to wrestler's court. So did Swinger, is that his gun that the Deaners found in his fanny pack? John DeConnie, I feel like this is a plant. I don't even think Swinger knew it was in there.
You know what? When he was talking to Dreamer, he was waving it around like it was, a gimmick cigarette lighter, like it wasn't a loaded gun.
That's
so,
true. Right.
So I'm guessing that hilarity will ensue because it's wrestler's court. And if it's anything like the last time they did it, which was one of the first episodes I ever tuned in on, it was something about it was Swinger again. I forget if he was a plaintiff or defendant at the time, but someone had stolen some pizzills out of his fanny pack. If it's half as funny as it was the last time, it'll have you rolling tonight. But something tells me that's not going to be the right gun.
No, I'm excited. This is going to be so stupid. Like, I loved Wrestle House. Okay, locker room talk about a fan, but I loved Wrestle House. I just the stupidity and the simplicity of Impact just sometimes just makes me happy. And I think this is going to be one of those cases. John Smith, I know Tommy Dreamer is going to be the judge. It will not be JBL. Ron Simmons as the bailiff again. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be. I definitely don't think that this is gonna end now, though. It's Johnny Swinger. I think he's not responsible for it.
No,
it might end up being Hornswoggle, the anonymous Raw general manager.
Well, Swoggle last one was in Vegas with the Inner Circle, so who knows? Okay, so to be continued again. It's not Rikishi. I guess that's as much as we can tell right now, and it was not Tessa Blanchard. So,
And meanwhile, have we got a medical update on the man who was shot?
has anyone checked up on no, Rosemary's Wrestling? She's actually in a tournament right now. She's completely okay. She's trying to win the tag title while her husband's in life support. Oh, Impact, I love you. Suicide. I haven't seen Suicide in a long time. He fought a guy named Dio. I was wondering why this was on my television set, and then here comes Eric Young, and who I believe to be, I don't know if it was Bart Gunn or Jake Gyllenhaal or Heath Ledger, or I don't know who this Joe Doring cowboy-looking guy is, but
Jacob or Eli Blue, maybe.
He's one of the Blues Brothers, or I don't know. But Eric Young's got some backup. I guess, sure, why not? But so they're going around. They're beating up everybody. They eventually ended up finding Rhino. They took out Rhino, who was trying to protect Slater, who's injured, and then they closed the door, and I'm sure they did some horrible things to our beloved Heath. And I believe I just said his last name by accident. That's quick up to me. Stu Young left a love note in blood for our Jersey girl, our beloved Impact Women's Champion, Deonna Purrazzo, that says, "Next week, your time has come." So stay tuned for that tonight. Fun match between Hernandez and Fallah Bahh. Hernandez got the match, got the win with the Super Mech splash. Now they're fighting over the wad of money that used to be around Fallah Bahh's neck, and apparently, I guess Fallah Bahh hasn't even realized that Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan have the money right now. And apparently, Josh Matthews didn't either, because it was a beautiful segue as far as announcers go. Great segue. Whoever comes with that money should go to shopimpact.com and see the Black Friday sales that are going to be coming up. Absolutely great segue to their promotion to sell something from Josh Matthews in the middle of a match that I can't believe, whatever. But the Supermax got it done with the splash. Well done, Josh. Scott D'Amore is being annoyed with Rohit Raju. Scott D'Amore is just absolutely funny. He's absolutely great. He's convincing TJP to change personas. He says TJP is not allowed to challenge for the X Division title, but for those, change their 8-ball. Ryan just chimed in with change their 8-ball as Eric Young's friend. He wrestled as Manic. He was a 3-time X Division champion, I believe, as Manic. And way back when, he wrestled under the name of Puma in the old TNA days in the 6-sided ring. So TJP does have more than one face of Foley here. So maybe one of them will be able to he wants one of them to take out Rohit Raju. Coming up with some matches, I know, John DeConnie, you talked about this morning on the Daily Wrestling News Show with Ryan Joy. Ethan Page, I got a joke. Hold on. So you talked about this morning on the news show. I'm going to go to John Smith on this one first now. Let me just get this brand over. Ethan Page, he's got a match with somebody the Good Brothers are calling phenomenal. John Smith, there's only one person this could possibly be, is Sex Ferguson making his Impact debut tonight.
I would love for that to happen. I didn't even think of that. I couldn't think of who this could be, but I would love it to be Sex Ferguson. Absolutely.
It's got to be Sex Ferguson. John DeConnie, you actually had this broken down. You can talk about what you said this morning.
Yeah, well, like as you said, he did refer to the upcoming opponent as being phenomenal. There was a reference to AJ's wife riding shotgun on the way down to the studio to film. But when it comes right down to it, obviously we know that's not going to happen. So I'm going to hearken back to something that used to be a thing. It didn't happen every year, but it happened enough times for people to take notice of it. The Raw after Survivor Series used to be the day that you would make fun of whoever you just beat, et cetera, by the use of a midget. So do we get Swoggle in a leather vest and gloves and kick pads? It's my best guess because nothing else makes sense.
Okay, the phenomenal Swoggle. I like it. That's a good call. That might be a better call than Sex Ferguson. And then the Knockouts tournament Last week, Havoc and Nevaeh, they got the job done. They beat Tennille Dashwood and Alicia. Tennille Dashwood, again, it is all about her. What's her name? Madison Rain was just drilling that into the ground after Tennille Dashwood left her high and dry. And she did the same thing with Alicia. She did the same thing with Jordan Grace at Turning Point as well. So Tennille Dashwood has absolutely zero interest in the Knockout Tag Team Championships. Havoc and Nevaeh got the win. They move on. There is not, it says, you see this graphic, this was taken off the TV from last week. It says continues next week. We don't know what match. They have not announced a match that is going to happen. We have two guesses, I guess. I know Tasha Steeles, she's been all over Twitter today with her new wrestling gear. So it could potentially be that. But then, John DeConnie, your girl made a phone call.
Yes, indeed. Jordan was on the phone right after that tag team match last week and referenced, when I heard you were going to retire, I just had to reach out to you and blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. I'll see you next week. So who's it going to be? Gun to my head, only because I read an article going back a month or two, just pulling this completely out of nowhere. I read an article where Tara said that she would be willing to make a comeback. Now, she was talking about WWE at the time. And I know she's got a podcast, and she does now too, so she is a little busy. But she did say as long as it wasn't going to be showing up and just saying, like, you know, have a good match to one of the gals and making a cameo backstage, if there was actually going to be a storyline and she was going to get multiple dates, she'd be willing to do it. That'd be a hell of a formidable team.
Yeah, and Tara is a former Knockouts Tag Team Championship champion, if I do remember correctly, looking at their title history. John Smith, you have a blank look on your face. I know you don't speak Impact all that well. That is Victoria.
Oh, okay.
She goes by the name of Tara when she's in Impact Wrestling. So,
gotcha.
Gentlemen, we're going to give you one more break right now. We're going to bring back in. Let me get that one off the screen now. There you go. We're going to bring in the host of the Daily Wrestling News Show that you can see every Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Ryan Joy, we are very glad to see you right now. Actually, I did this. Ta-da! Pretty good. Look at that. No changing on screen. I like how I did that. Ryan Joy, nice to see you again, pal. We had a fun time on Monday.
Yeah, we did. It was a great show, a great first show. That was yesterday. Pulling double duty today. We did the Daily Wrestling News Show this morning. John DeConnie was the guest host this morning. And, yeah, I'm ready to get in and talk some New Japan or whatever the logo in the upper right-hand corner ends up being.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you for reminding me. I actually just did forget that. I was trying to make sure I'm looking for your graphics. What would you? I'm going to put this on you, buddy. We got the Super Juniors and we got the World Tag League. Just start talking and I'll get you straight here.
Yeah. So you know, both tournaments are underway. We can start with the best of the Super Juniors. It's currently a 4-way tie for first place with Sho, Master Wato, Taiji Ishimori, and Hiromu Takahashi. They're all at 3-1, and then you can see a number of the other competitors, Robbie Eagles, Bushi, and El Desperado, and even Ryusuke Taguchi are all 2-2. So after 4 nights, the field is wide open still. So it really makes me feel like the booking on this particular tournament is going to come down to where in the last night we're going to have at least 3 of the matches, if not 4, are all going to matter to the outcome. In the head-to-head on those individuals, Hiromu Takahashi did beat Taiji Ishimori, so it puts Ishimori kind of at the bottom of those top 4. But yeah, the tournament's still wide open. And in the tag league, we do have a definitive leader. 4-1 record for Sonata and Shingo Takagi. You can see that there. They're in the bottom, not all the way right, but the bottom section there. But behind them, you've got 5 teams with a 3-2 record, including the Guerrillas of Destiny, the current champions Taichi and Sabre, Ishii and Yano, and Evil and Yujiro Takahashi, as well as Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb. So again, that tournament is in the same situation. They are all going to both tournaments will conclude on December 11th So December is just a crazy, crazy month. I mean,
yeah, and wrestling as a whole, yeah, it is just absolutely nuts. And you got the 2 tournament finals on one night. I'm probably gonna see what I can do to make sure I'm up early to catch that as something falls off my desk.
Yeah, and then just to give a little bit more news on, Ring of Honor announced December 18th they're going to have Final Battle. So that's going to be a situation. All the titles are on the line, including that means Jonathan Gresham does double duty that night, defending the Pure title and the tag titles. You were starting to see some of those angles come together on ROH TV. Still Matt Taven and Vincent. Mike Bennett made a return to ROH, so he's kind of in that mix too. So I imagine that's going to be some sort of battle away from the titles on that event. But you still got EC3 and Jay Briscoe that are kind of locking horns right now. So there's been no real progress towards the title picture. So we'll see. But we haven't seen Roosh or Dragon Lee since the pandemic started. So it'll be great to see them back at Final Battle.
Yeah, and Ring of Honor puts on spectacular pay-per-views. I mean, I'll sit down for a Ring of Honor show pay-per-view anytime. I
was there at Final Battle last year. It was Friday the 13th. It was a Friday the 13th type show. It was kind of like going to Halloween Havoc. PCO ended up winning the world title that night. It was a really spectacular show. You're right about that. Just a couple other minor things in the brands that I've been covering. Major League Wrestling made their restart last week. Davey Boy Smith Jr. challenged Jacob Fatu for the heavyweight championship. He lost, so Jacob Fatu was still competing with Roman Reigns for the head of the table. And Brian Pillman Jr. he attempted to take the middleweight title away from Myron Reed, and he also failed. So nice thing is they started setting up angles right away for those two champions in their next bouts. Myron Reed issued a challenge to Leo Rush, and Alexander Hammerstone, who is a big dude, is looking to challenge Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, I got a glimpse of him when I watched that first. This would be a nice segue for you. Whatever that USWA thing, whatever that pay-per-view was, where Nick Aldis fought Mike Bennett.
Yes, he was on that. He's a great big man. He uses this move called the Nightmare Pendulum, where he lifts this guy up into a vertical suplex position, but then he dumps him down almost on the back of his head, in pendulum style. So he's a really impressive indie guy. It'll be an interesting battle between the two of them. And then last but not least, the National Wrestling Alliance announced earlier today that they are going to fire shots at this podcast.
Yeah,
and
bring it, Corgan.
We'll take our viewership. The thing is, here's what you can do. If you pay $5 to their Patreon, you can watch that show on Monday, and you don't have to miss this one. So
there you go.
There's your option. And I think that kind of rounds out those promotions. But the New Japan has shows Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Tons and tons of content that's coming out. MLW is your Dynamite and NXT pre-show, and Shockwave, that can be the thing that you watch on Monday after Raw once you pay your Patreon.
All right, Ryan Joy, thank you so much for your updates. We look forward to talking to you. We're going to keep you on the show, though, right now. I have a cat behind me. We're going to bring back in John DeConti. John Smith is still out getting groceries, apparently. I don't know where he went.
I was very quick this time, so.
Yeah, that was quick. So, but we are going to quickly go over the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, just like they did for the men, just like they did for the women. There we go. They actually started a new tradition. They came out with the top 50 best tag teams in the. Oh, there you go.
My bad.
We gotta switch it though. There we go.
Sorry, guys.
Nah, no, it's okay, pal. You didn't really miss much. I was just screwing with the graphics anyway. But the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, for the first time ever, they came out with their top 50 greatest tag teams. Right now, here are the top 10 that they announced. FTR, the former AEW, and then just say quadruple crown. They've won everything. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the former AEW. They ranked number 1 this past year. How they beat out Kenny Omega and Adam Page, I have no idea. Omega and Page's title run seemed like it took up the whole time period that qualifies for this list. Sasha Banks and Bayley, they came in at 3. They did an extended run as women's tag team champions. The North had a historic run as Impact Tag Team champions. The Street Profits, as we discussed specifically recently, the run that they've been on, especially on Survivor Series Weekend Special. Then we got the Guerrillas of Destiny, the Lucha Brothers, the New Day. Kabuki Warriors had a great year. Like I said, as Ryan Joy mentioned this morning, they main evented TLC last year at this point in time by defeating John Nakani. Who did they defeat?
Charlotte and Becky.
Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Yeah, it was not Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. We'll get into some more humor on that in a second. That was a small shot at John Nakani. Other notable tag teams that were here, the Young Bucks, the current AEW Tag Team Champions, they just missed the top 10. They came in at 11. The Undisputed Era Hyman off year came in at 13. The Briscoes are the top tag team from Ring of Honor. They came in at 15, where the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions with Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham coming in at 36. The Free Agent Rascals, I wanted to include them on this one. They had a great year. They're currently free agents roaming around in wrestling limbo. Our favorite wrestler, Alexa Bliss, her and her former tag team partner, they went at it last night. But when they worked together, they were former 2-time tag team champions. They came in at 22. My favorite tag team of all time, not of all time, but of recent memory, the Miz and Morrison, they're in at 27. The IWGP Tag Team Champions over New Japan, Taichi and Sabre at 30. Imperium was the top team. I believe that Dallas was on there. Ron, you ever find Dallas? I missed them. All right. Imperium comes in at 41. And another one of our favorites, Breezango, in at 44. And then the Iconics, the recently split up Iconics, they actually snuck in there in the coveted number 50 spot. John Nakani, as our resident tag team enthusiast, what do you think about here? Any questions, comments, concerns?
I probably would have had the same thought as you, way up at the top. Maybe FTR. Maybe next year, I would fully expect to see them right there at the top of the list. But that Page and Omega run was so long that I don't see how they weren't the top. So, but other than that, not a lot to. There's a couple on there. Admittedly, I'm not that familiar with the Guerrillas of Destiny, etc. The Japanese contingent, but it's a solid list and just a lot of solid teams on there. And much like yourself, very, very happy to see the Iconics break in there, number 50.
Ryan Joy, anything you want to add to this? Any teams missing? I know the Usos. Jimmy Uso's been injured for the better part of the year. They did not make the list. Anybody, as Jarek would say, you want to make the list?
I'm struggling to think of teams that are necessarily missing, but I think that their process probably needs a little bit of maturing. This is their first year with this. I question Guerrillas of Destiny in the top 10. I think that's a little generous considering they didn't win the World Tag League. They lost those title belts to Finn Juice right away as soon as the year started. And then they didn't wrestle for 8 months and really just started up again last month. So
yeah.
I think the process needs a little maturing. I agree with the FTR and Hangman Page items. And yeah, I can't think of anybody that's missing, but it is kind of a weird list.
John Smith, I know you're big fans of Reno Scum, Triple XL.
Yeah,
they're not making it. They didn't make it on there.
Yeah, it was tough to not see them on the list, but they'll get there. I think that as far as the Page and Omega thing goes, I think the only reason that they didn't get number 1 is because they wanted to have like an actual tag team as the number 1 team, like a long-term tag team, not 2 singles guys that have been together for a little while. I think Imperium got the shaft. I think they should have been up a little higher.
Yeah.
not a little, like 20 spots higher. They were at 44. And I think I would have loved to see the North at 1 or 2. I think the North are definitely the best team in the world right now.
Wow, that's okay.
Yeah.
I would love to see the North. You say the Impact Tag Division. It's nothing to sneeze at. I know you make jokes about Triple XL and Reno Scum or whatever. Reno Scum's actually pretty good. It's so. Last on our list, we are going to switch gears to AEW. Ryan Joy, were you at this particular event last Wednesday?
Yeah, I was there. It was a lot less attended than Full Gear, but I was there. The weather has changed. It is now cold in Jacksonville.
Define cold in Jacksonville.
What's that?
80?
It was 50s during the show.
Okay, it's in the 50s.
Yeah.
And in the main event, Team Taz defeated Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin after Cage hit the drill claw from the top rope on Darby. That was pretty crazy. We got a swerve here, Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we can really gloss over an avalanche drill claw from the top rope. I mean that. I mean, good for Darby. I don't know if I would have trusted anybody to do that to me. But after the you alluded to it earlier in the show, but after the match, out comes Will Hobbs. He grabs that FTW championship, holds it up, and then he starts beating down Cody and Darby. So now I want to see the team of Cage and Hobbs. I think that's going to be a fun team to go after the Young Bucks.
Yeah, or there's a 3 right there. Bring in those trios titles. Let's go.
Yeah, that's
trios. Right. Team Taz has he gave Will Hobbs some time. Taz wanted him. Hobbs got blew him off. Then he ended up chasing him away. I think last week or whatever it was, and then he ended up joining. Will Hobbs will be in action tomorrow night on Dynamite. He's got a mean look on his face right there. I don't want to mess with that guy.
I know you're not asking, but I'm picking him to win whatever his match is.
Yeah. When it's in action, that's just we'll leave it at that. John Smith, the Young Bucks defeated Top Flight after the BTE trigger. Darius and Dante Martin, they look good for being 19 and 21. Incredible, and they got signed. AEW contracts that came out the day later. The Top Flight is All Elite. They were jumped post-match by TH2, by my Lucha Underground guy. I love these guys, Angelico and Jack Evans, and they're going to get at it tomorrow night. What did you think of Top Flight, and then who do you got?
Well, I mean, with that, it's almost like they put a page of dark in the middle of the the main show card. But I got Top Flight winning it. The match with the Young Bucks.
Okay.
Yeah, the match with the Young Bucks, I think it was good. I mean, Top Flight is very lucha style, a little bit more lucha than the Young Bucks. Young Bucks, they flip around and stuff, but it's still like ground-based stuff a lot of the time. Like these guys were like jumping, doing this off of each other's shoulders, bounce, bounce, bounce. It was really cool. So I liked seeing that. But of course, the Young Bucks won it because of course they're going to win. They're the champs, and these Top Flight's new, but they impressed me.
Yeah, and that's a crazy story that they said during the match that they just said screw it, and they sent in a tape to AEW. Like, what do you got to lose? And that's exactly it. Wayne Gretzky once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and they just said screw it. They sent in a tape. The Bucks, as executive vice president of the company, they liked what they saw. They gave him a shot. And now, kids that are barely out of high school, they have professional wrestling contracts. It is an absolute crazy story. Good for them. The Inner Circle slayed Vegas. We won't go into too much detail on this one. I know MJF and Jericho, they were trying to one-up each other this time, not with stakes, but with shots. John Smith, I know a long time ago, we had a wild night on Canadian Cooking Sherry, so we all know the dangers of that stuff. They ended up doing Everclear, which is, I haven't heard that name in a long time. The only alcohol that I can remember that's flammable, as far as I'm missing something. It was four Loco flammable too. I missed that.
No, 151 is flammable. Bacardi 151.
Then at the end of the night, they were on top of the rooftop. They all had bottles in their hand. It was funny. The funny thing, everyone's got some kind of hard alcohol in their hand, and MJF's got a bottle of white Zinfandel. I thought that was pretty funny. Then they wake up the next morning. Everyone's hungover, just like what the movie was, with the exception of Ortiz. It was in the middle of his morning workout, which was absolutely phenomenal. Ortiz and Santana didn't look too bad either. It seems like those two were hangover proof. Conan made an appearance during this. Hornswoggle was the baby from The Hangover. That was funny. But Jericho then went on commentary. He's like, enough screwing around, back to work. They're getting at it against SCU, Jericho and Hager. Ryan Joy, Jericho mentioned a while ago, he wants the tag titles with Jake.
Yeah, and I think this is part of that campaign, and I think they'll win this match pretty easily. And onward and upward. Young Bucks down the road.
John Connor, anything to disagree with that?
No, I think Jake and Jericho get it done here. Fresh off their Vegas trip. They're refreshed. They're ready to go, and they're going to get on a run.
All right, I will agree with that as well. John Smith?
Yeah, I definitely got the Inner Circle.
All right. Pac made his wrestling debut, or re-debut, last week on Dynamite. He defeated the Blade after a shooting star into the Brutalizer. The Death Triangle got back together. The Blade and the Butcher and Eddie Kingston, they were jumping Pac in the ring. Phoenix came in for the save. Penta came out. Now Penta and Eddie, as we all know, they're best friends. Penta had a choice to make. John Smith, I know, I'm sorry that hurts you now. I know you and Penta are best friends, but but Penta made a choice, and he chose the Death Triangle. He took his brother, and he took Pac. Penta's going to sit this one out, and maybe he'll be at ringside, but Pac and Ray Phoenix, this was just signed a couple hours ago as well. They will be taking on the Blade and the Butcher, along with the Bunny. John Smith, I'll let you lead with this one.
Yeah, give me Pac and Ray Phoenix.
All right, John DeCounty?
I would have to agree. Pac and Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm not going to go against Pac and Phoenix. Ryan Joy, you want to be different?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
I love the Butcher and Blade, but nah,
Yeah, they're the resident punching bags right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
John DeCounty, Orange Cassidy and Kip Sabian had a really fun match. I was excited about that matchup when I saw it, and I was smiling through it, and then at the end.
Yeah, it paid off. It was a good, we got the a little back and forth early on with the requisite spots of Cassidy with his slacker offense that somehow works out. Then we came back out of a commercial break in time to see Cassidy hit a diving DDT, which almost got him the 3 count, not quite. Sabian started to come back. He had hit some strong offense there towards the very end, and then they wound up in a little bit of a grapple for a second there, which led to Cassidy dropping down and tying him up in the mousetrap for the 1-2-3.
All righty. Ryan Joy, there was supposed to be a contract signing last week for the AEW World Championship that will be taking place at Winter is Coming on Wednesday, December 2nd. Now, how Game of Thrones does not have that trademark, shame on them.
Seriously.
But AEW, they took it and they're running with it. First things first, before we get into what happened with Moxley, I just want to give a shout out to those cleaner girls. They come out dancing to the beat and whatever, and they change songs to Kenny Omega's entrance music, which really isn't that much danceable, I guess, has a dance beat to it. And they keep going. They don't lose stride. They keep it going. So shout out. This is the reason why I do believe they're different sets of women, probably the Jaguars cheerleaders every week. But they don't lose a beat. They don't skip a step. So shout out to them. Don Moxley, like I said, Ryan Joy, he did not make it to the ring. He was jumped backstage after announcing that his wife was pregnant. Dropped that, kind of threw that in there. Internet went crazy. So congratulations to them. But anybody off the top of your head, the phenomenal one, Sex Ferguson, Hornswoggle, who jumped John Moxley? Was it Swinger?
I'm thinking Renee Young.
Renee Young did it.
She was like, "What are you doing? Get away from me!" I mean, Lance Archer is the most likely candidate, I think, but after Renee Young.
Yeah, that's just playing percentages right there. I guess if you had Vegas odds, I guess he would be the guy.
Yep.
Jay Cargill, she stomped a chair with Brandy Rhodes' arm in it backstage. Nyla, I have Nia written in my notes instead of Nyla. My bad. Nyla Rose, Vicky Guerrero, they were helping Jade. Big Swole, Serena Deeb, and Red Velvet came to the help of Brandy Rhodes. So TB continued with that. We had another match that was just signed. We just got this graphic up maybe about less than an hour ago. We got Hangman Page and John Silver. Ryan Joy as our resident John Silver enthusiast. Who you got?
Hangman Page. As much as I like John Silver, I think there's no shot at beating Hangman Page.
All right. Anybody want to disagree with John Smith?
I'll disagree. I'll take Silver. I think it involves plenty of chicanery, but I think it'll happen.
He's gonna need a lot of help from the Dark Order. I think it's a numbers game with the Dark Order. All depends on who's at ringside, I guess. Maybe if three's hurt, right? He's 4, maybe 5 and 10 are out there. Maybe they'll help out.
Sure, why not?
John Connie.
I'm gonna go with Page.
Yeah.
I would be very entertained to see Silver win, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
And then the last thing we'll bring up, there was a very, very good. It said you had 3 women's championship matches in 2 days in professional wrestling. The NWA Women's Champion Serena Deeb, she had an amazing match, got the win over Thunder Rosa to retain the women's title after a neutralizer. Britt Baker interfered during the match to try to cost Thunder Rosa the belt. That didn't help. The match continued. And then Serena Deeb, she got the win. Britt Baker then came out. She jumped Thunder Rosa post-match. So even though under an NWA contract with their show restarting, Thunder Rosa decided to start a program with an AEW contracted wrestler. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. But we have an AEW Women's Championship match. And speaking on the topic here, Hikaru Shida, she will defend her title against the great one, the Dark Order's number 99, Anna Jay. John DeConnie as our Wayne Gretzky enthusiast, our number 99 enthusiast. Wink, wink, hint.
Yes, indeed. There's no points on the line, so why the hell not? Give me Anna Jay. Give me the great.
Why not? I'm gonna go Anna Jay too. That'd be it'd be something crazy. I don't see it, but I mean, she's gonna need some help from somebody, but like I said, the one person she's friends with Ryan Joy, Ted Conti doesn't like to cheat.
Yeah, it'd be a very interesting thing to see 99 come away with the title. I'm pretty much 100% sure it's going to be Shida that walks away with the title, though.
All right, John Smith.
Yeah, I got Shida winning. I don't see how 99 ends up with that belt unless for some reason Brody Lee wants it. And then he can, pull some stuff after he helps John Silver win.
So that will do it for AEW. It is now that wonderful time of the show where I get to reveal the next match on my favorite WrestleMania match countdown. We are at number 18. We are 18 weeks away from WrestleMania. This one, it's just his name was mentioned a couple of times on Saturday in the Survivor Series show. My hometown hero, my high school teacher, one of my high school teachers, Tito Santana, him and his partner Rick Martel, known as Strikeforce, they were the WWF Tag Team Champions way back when, and they collided with Demolition. It was kind of new on the scene. Fun match, like I said, just Tito running down the Trump Plaza. Running down the aisle with Rick Martel with the gold around his waist, that just kind of sunk it for me. I couldn't really possibly tell you if this match was good or not. I just loved it because, my hometown guy was a champion in it. But it was a pretty decent match. Jesse Ventura, again, relentless with the jokes with Chico Santana, and that he learned the flying forearm in the MFL, and that he was selling tacos in Tijuana. The way the match ended, Martel had Smash in the Boston Crab, the same move that put away Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and we'll get to Jim in a second, that won the tag team championships that Strikeforce beat the Hart Foundation for. Fuji got bought up on the apron, dropped the cane. Tito started fighting with Fuji. Axe took the cane, hit Martel pretty hard in the back of the neck. Smash landed with a pinfall, but the front Tito was just relentless on beating up on Mr. Fuji. He was standing in the ring fine while Martel was getting pinned. And Tito just didn't turn around in time. He just had to hit Fuji a couple more times, I guess. Who knows? But that actually started the historic run, the year-and-a-half run that Demolition had as WWF Tag Team Champions, that the New Day surpassed a couple years ago with their first title run. So this was March of 1988. I believe it was August, right before SummerSlam 89, when the Brainbusters finally beat Demolition. So that was the number 18.
It's a pretty interesting piece of trivia to know what Axe and Smash's middle name is, too.
Yeah, that's exactly. I wouldn't have got. Unbelievable. So, speaking of which, we are going to pay some bills. Do some promotions here for our company. First, we're going to start with Ryan Joy. Please tune in and get your morning cup of joy every morning. Whoa, there you go. I got to done that beforehand. Where's your graphic? There it is. Get your morning cup of joy in every Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. on all the Facebook channels, the Eastern Observer Facebook channel, on the I-95 Sports Network, Zingo Channel 198, all the ways that you can watch the Central Wrestling Podcast. You can watch Ryan Joy in the Daily Wrestling News Show. It's been a lot of fun. I was the host on Monday morning. John DeConnie, he was the host. He was in the host this morning on Tuesday. We had a little bit of a trivia. You might see it on the graphics right there. We had a little bit of a trivia contest, John DeConnie. I got 3 right. How many did you get right? You only got 2. See, the thing is, now John Smith put King Kong Bundy in the screen. That means he's not there.
I'm here.
It's a little bit unfair with the short week because of the holiday and the fact that Ryan's got 2 very important guests from the North American Wrestling Alliance tomorrow morning. We're going to give you a little bit of a glimpse of what the Daily Wrestling News Show's trivia is. And John Smith, you're not getting the week off. You're going to play right now, my friend. Ryan, take it away.
All John right. Smith, are you sitting comfortably? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I hope it's not the questions from this morning because I was watching.
Here are the rules. You're going to get 5 questions. A simple majority correct gets you the W. If you win, you get a Goldberg Axo Award. If you lose, you get a Hawkins. Okay. So the theme is War Games. How do you feel about that?
If it's WCW War Games, I don't feel very good about it at all.
Oh, Ryan froze up.
Sorry, the screen ad.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's mainly WWE Takeover style War Games, so I think you should be okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Question 1. WWE recently announced that NXT Takeover War Games will take place on December 6, 2020. WWE reintroduced War Games with their November 2017 pay-per-view. The first WWE War Games match included 3 teams of 3. Those teams were the Undisputed Era, Sanity, and the team of AOP and this man.
Roddy.
Full name, please.
Roderick Strong.
Adam Cole used a kendo stick plus a last shot knee strike to the head of Eric Young to earn the pinfall victory. This gave the Undisputed Era the victory over Sanity and the team of AOP and Roderick Strong. Very good.
There we go.
You got 1 correct. Question number 2. The 2019 War Games took place at the Allstate Arena in this state. Multiple guess. A, Illinois. B, Maryland. C, Pennsylvania. Or D, North Carolina. Or should I say, North Carolina?
I'll go with Illinois.
Illinois is correct. You are 2 for 2. Things
Right.
are looking good. John DeConnie, you better hope his luck turns, though.
That's it. You just tied John DeConnie. I'm up next. Oh, man.
The 2019 NXT TakeOver War Games featured the first ever women's War Games match. Rhea Ripley teamed with Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, and Candice LeRae to defeat the team of Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, and this woman.
I'm sorry, it was Rhea Ripley. No. The three were who on the heel team?
Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, and
Who the heck was it? Oh, this is gonna make me so mad.
This was random, too, how they put this girl in this match. This isn't an easy one.
Was it Dakota?
Dakota was on the other team.
Oh no, then
She's on the
that
It was a situation where Dakota took out Tegan. I'm going to go. This was really hard, so I am going to give you multiple guesses. Mia Yim, Sasha Banks, Shotzi Blackheart, or Kaylee Ray.
Kaylee Ray.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. Question. So maybe it's a half point since I have. All Elite Wrestling announced a War Games match that was supposed to take place in New Jersey earlier this year. Since WWE owns the trademark on War Games, AEW used this name.
Fun fact, I won tickets to this show on the radio, and then it never happened. I guess I blocked it from my memory because I was so upset that I didn't get to go. I was going to that stupid match. Oh, man. No, I don't know.
Remember when Cody announced it? You know, it was there's all this, you know, it's right here.
I can't even read that.
Blood and guts.
Guts. Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Okay. So final question, and this is what I would call a layup, but my layups have not been easy. So
No, they haven't. Well, my layup was on me. I should have known that.
this legend of pro wrestling is credited with the invention of War Games, and I have multiple guesses for you. Is it A, Arn Anderson, B, Tully Blanchard, C, Ric Flair, D, Dustin Rhodes, E, Cody Rhodes, F, Brandy Rhodes, G, Dusty Rhodes, or H, all of the above?
It's Dusty Rhodes.
Do you need to hear him again?
No, it's Dusty Rhodes.
Yes, Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty.
All right, so the tallied up, you got a solid 3 plus
Give it to him.
Yeah, we give it to. So that means you get a win.
All right, so that's how it's done. We get he does trivia every morning with his guests. We get to play along. We hope you can play along at too while you're having your morning cup of joy. Except for tomorrow, I don't think you're gonna be doing any trivia tomorrow with Mr. Capone and Tony T. Correct?
No, I'm not gonna put them through that.
Yeah, Ryan's got 2 very special guests tomorrow morning at 10:30. I believe your show's being delayed a half an hour. He is going to have the owner of the North American Wrestling Alliance, Tony Capone, along with their play-by-play announcer, Tony T. Both friends of the show. Both are going to be on the Daily Morning Wrestling News Show tomorrow morning. Mr. Capone is going to be. It's going to be a two show trip for him. On December 8th. Mr. Capone will be on this show, on the Essential Wrestling Podcast, along with his best wrestling superstar, if you want to call her that, former NXT superstar, former Impact Knockout, Amber Nova, will be their special guest picker on the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Those two will be on with us to make their picks for the Impact Plus pay-per-view final resolution that will be on the following Saturday. I believe it is the 12th. Make sure, as always, you tune into the Primetime Rundown every Friday at 6 p.m., although I shouldn't say every Friday because they are off this week due to the holiday, but they will be returning on December 4th at 6 p.m. on all the I-95 Sports Network outlets, as well as Dingo TV, channel 198. Ryan Joy, the Body Slam Brigade. Right?
Oh, sorry about that. There's a lot of lag on the system here.
All right, the Body Slam Brigade. What do you got for us?
Oh man, tons and tons of news. If you're missing the Daily Wrestling News Show, then you need the Body Slam Brigade to catch up on everything. So do subscribe. It's free at bodyslambrigade.com.
Okay, and then also we have Tyler's Godfather's band. We have more than one Godfather. We have Tony Capone, and now we have Tyler's uncle's band, the Black Cats NYC. Their new album, Free Cake, dropped on November 13th. You can get it on YouTube, Deezer, Apple Music, Pandora, Spotify, all of your music outlets. Make sure you get the new album from the Black Cats NYC called Free Cake. Hopefully we're going to be getting some music clips from them on the show coming up. This should be good. And we are back next week as well, every Tuesday at 6 p.m., the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Next week, big number 30. This is the big one for us. I can't believe it's been 30 weeks already. It seems like it's just yesterday. Tyler and I were on Zoom making fun of each other, saying how bad we were. So on to the giveaway for the details for the Jim the Anvil Neidhart photo. It's an 8x11 autographed photo of WWE Hall of Famer, a Hart Foundation member, former tag team champion Jim the Anvil Neidhart. All you have to do is go to the I-95 Sports Network on YouTube, become a subscriber, click on the notification bell, RKO that notification bell, do whatever you have to do to the notification bell, and make sure you comment on our shows with the hashtag EWPAnvil to be entered in the contest. Again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment with the hashtag EWPAnvil to be entered into the contest. We'll be announcing a winner once we get 200 subscribers. So we're setting the bar low. We need to get our YouTube numbers up. Make sure you share with your friends and let them know that we are doing this. Ryan, one last thing from you. It seems like you are all over the place. You got a book now, huh? Jeez.
Yeah, I'm definitely keeping busy. So the wins and losses, it's 2020 Pro Wrestling Yearbook. This is going to be an enormous piece of literature. It's going to be close to 1,000 pages. It's going to have everybody's 2020 win-loss record. Doesn't come out until January 2nd, but in the spirit of the Thanksgiving weekend, Black Friday, I'm putting it up for $10 pre-order starting right now. This is the first time I've talked about it in public. You can go to thewinsandlosses.com to order. There's absolutely no information other than a picture of the book, and you would have had to hear about it here to know anything else.
All right, that sounds great. I'm hoping mine has an autograph in it when I buy mine. And I wanted to make sure, just double check this. I said Amber Nova and Mr. Capone, they will be on our show on December 8th, episode 31. Here's the reason why. Make sure that you guys tune into the NAWA. They're relaunching their brand. It's been dormant for quite a bit of years now. They're bringing it back, and they're opening it up with Jingle Brawl. And there's a star-studded list that's going to be there, including the Mountain of the South, Jimmy Hart. That's Davey Boy Smith's kid. Why am I forgetting? Davey Smith Jr., right? Gangrel, Amber Nova that we mentioned. That is the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan. I believe a Bushwhacker will be there. I believe the Nasty Boys will be there. I believe Johnny Swinger will be there. It is going to be a star-studded show on December 19th at 7 p.m. Make sure you tune in on Fight TV. I believe it is only $10 to purchase, so it is really it's like Impact. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to watch it. And it is a great lineup that we will be discussing with the Godfather of Pro Wrestling, Tony Capone, the owner of the North American Wrestling Alliance, and his top star, Amber Nova, here in 2 weeks. So, I'm a little late today, but hey, we wanted to make sure John Smith had some trivia there. He won the week. Kudos to John Smith. Maybe we can start doing something for the weekly winners with the three of us. That could be a lot of fun. So for John Smith, for John DeConnie, for Ryan Joy of MinutesToBellTime.com, along with everything else that he does. Unbelievable. Everything that he's got his hands in these days. Alexa Bliss, we love you. Tegan Knox, we miss you. Get well soon. John Connie, take it home.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.